Frosty.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, good. Just finished watching the Game Awards.
Hey, heard 14 got best community, ongoing game.
Yeah, something weird just happened at the very end of the show.
What happened?
I you'll see it somewhere on the internet at some point.
Yeah,
it was just bizarre.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna watch it like after I finish streaming. I want to catch up on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, spoilers.
Just really weird and awkward. I don't know how to describe it.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, no. That's all I've been up to, and just trying to chill out a little bit from work and all that great stuff.
Good. Hope you're feeling okay and all good to go.
Work sucks, man.
Yeah, I saw your thing on it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Oh man. Well, how's practice going? Is everything going pretty well?
Yeah, I'm pretty much set. I just haven't set my main character, but all the backup files are like ready to go. And I was just talking with my chat, like I had to figure out logistically how I'm gonna set up my character, because essentially when I set it up, I'm locked out from playing the game until the GDQ is. It gets really weird, but I'll figure that out when I get there.
Yeah, you got this. You
Yeah,
got this.
Yeah.
Worst thing happened, servers go down or something, but
Yeah, that's why I have an EU backup, just in case that happens.
yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So how many do you have?
Currently 5. We have 1 EU, I have a Crystal and a Primal, they have 2 each right now, and then technically I'll end up with 6, because I'll do 2 on my main.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Okay.
But,
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'm as prepared as possible, so...
Yeah. You're not over-preparing now, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Overkilling. You are?
Yeah, oh no, it's super overkill. Like, I probably just needed 1 backup, honestly.
Yeah. I think you... Yeah, I don't expect anything bad. We're probably good. But, yeah. So I was looking through your notes here.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to make sure... do you mind if I go over them real quick with you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, good topic points, sustain potion, explanation, why do this, right? Free trial,
Yeah.
Being able to do it for free, yeah, that's great. PoTD explanation, yeah. You know what? This is a lot. I think we might hit like 5 of these.
I hope so. I mean, whichever is most important, we'll try it. But and this was like some of the feedback we got too from last stream and people talking about. So I know I noted down like, which I actually aren't on the notes that I gave you, but I noted down, why am I on a keyboard, which is one we just didn't talk about, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So
it's like in the title or in the description.
Yeah, just neglect that part of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, like, and I'll be honest. Today's probably I might be a little bit off, but I'm still gonna do my best, do good. I need to be able to do good when I'm off, anyways. So.
Don't worry about it, man. I mean, if anything, I think the run in itself, at least to get the repetition in, and it'll feel a little less foreign, So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm good. Is there anything you want to think about, talk about before we just run into it?
No, pretty good. I think the notes I sent you pretty much like the recap of everything, so I'm pretty much set to go. So, you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. I guess we could just like, are you going to start? By the way, are you planning to start the run in already, or are you going to be outside? Because I remember last time we were outside at the...
We are going to be here. Ooh, I'm lagging. Hold on. Should move this one. The reason I'm lagging is because of the full screen. Oh, because I had to put the thing there. Okay, let me see if that's better. I put on the wrong one now. That's better. Okay, you can still see it.
Okay. Yeah, I can still see it. It's a. I mean, it looks fine. It's fine.
Okay, perfect. All right. I'm gonna start it here. So actually, where we are right now is where I'm gonna log my character out. That's why I'm gonna basically lock my character out once I finish the files, because I can't leave this area.
Okay.
So, but yeah. All right. So.
All right. Well, then I will let you.
Yeah.
If you want to start up, I'll let you take the lead, and I'll jump in.
Perfect. So, hello everyone. I am Angelus Demonus. I am the runner for Final Fantasy XIV. We are here in the in-between floors of 170, 171. I invited the community to show up on this floor, and there are so many people here. I can't even describe how many people are here. Look at all the people, Frosty, dude. So many. And with me on the couch is Frosty. Frosty, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Frosty, and I am not a Palace of the Dead expert, but I do love the content, and I'm excited to be here and just be part of the couch and watch this awesome run, because I am absolutely amazed every time I see it, and it looks literally impossible. But I guess that's what a lot of runs look like. Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, from the viewer perspective, it definitely looks difficult, I'd want to say. But you play this game forever. You know your thing about 14. You know, you have an immense amount of knowledge from the rating perspective and stuff, so don't sell yourself too short.
Yeah, I do a dungeon or two.
One or two, yeah, it's good enough. That's why you're here.
Yeah. Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
So
that's why we do the dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I brought you in.
Okay.
So let's get in. So as we go in, we'll talk about as much as I can to kind of get you guys within the context of the run, so you know what you're watching, you know what you're looking at, and we'll start the time when you see a duty commence. So let's see, about 3, 2, 1. Ayo. Okay. So I'm going to use a Pomander of Raising. On the right side, we have what we call Pomanders, which are kind of our power-ups. Now this file is about, I would say, 7 to 10 hours into this whole challenge of 200 floors. So that's why we already have power-ups in our disposal. And it's kind of hard too about keeping the power-ups in check. I mean, if you're kind of new to the mode, you probably won't have as many power-ups as we have, but we did pretty good climbing up here, and that's why we have almost a full stock of things, which is a good thing to have. And you'll be seeing me using them as we go along, and kind of as we talk about, as I use them, I'll describe what we have. The first one was the Raising, which is like a re-raise. When I use that, then if I were to die, then it'll be okay, I can get back up. But if we were to die now, then the run is over. I literally have to start back to floor 1. And then, as I mentioned, this is a 200 floor challenge. And you can't die all the way up to 200. Because once you die once, you have to restart from the very beginning, and a full run can take maximum 20 hours, or usually on average a runner would take between 12 and 15 hours to complete this challenge. So let's talk about a little bit on mechanics of this game mode. The game mode is called Deep Dungeon. It's almost like a roguelike. We have 10 floors. 1 to 9 is a bunch of random enemies. We don't know how many spawns. We don't know what the maps look like. There are traps on the floors, which I'll showcase a little bit later. And our goal is just to kill enough enemies to open the exit. If you look on the right side of the screen, there is a map. It says floor 171. There is a key that will change color every so often for every kill. It kind of gives you a general idea of when we might get to the exit, but honestly, it sometimes can be a bit of a troll. The colors don't really give too much of an idea. Like, we don't know exactly, like, oh, I'm 1 kill away, 2 kills away. But it does give you, a little bit of a visual that at least you're making some progress. Generally, we'll need about 4 to 8-ish kills to get off the floor, and that is the requirement for each floor to get to the next one. Now, just to kind of describe something about this, as we pull enemies, you'll see me, I'm going to run away a lot, but one of the things that you probably will typically see in an FF14 fight or anything is that you don't really do a lot of movement, but by staying in place, we're going to take a lot of damage, although right there I kind of just dodged 2 attacks, so it doesn't really help me with the demonstration. But there are a lot of tools that we have to kind of stay alive in this place, and taking 1 hit, I'll take 1 hit here, it's getting a lot of damage out of it. So we have an item that I use called a Sustaining Potion, which just gave me a buff Rehabilitation, which is about a 10% heal every 3 seconds or so. And that's one of the key components to how we survive in Deep Dungeon for a lot of jobs. There are jobs that can kind of get away without using them, but this job definitely will need them as you do the climb. We also have kind of 2 other heals that Machinist provides, one of which is called Second Wind, which I'll use right now. It's a cooldown that's about 2-minute cooldown, and then we have another one called a Max Potion, which is stuff that does drop as we kill enemies. You might notice when we kill some enemies, you'll see some Max Potions drop. And they heal for a decent amount as well. I'd say about 20% heal if you use them, but that cooldown is also about 70 seconds. So it's a lot of resource management. You don't have infinite heals, and you want to kind of balance all those resources to keep yourself alive as you go along. And also, there's a lot of kiting involved, but I'll discuss the kiting portion of Machinist and why it's kind of a good job a little bit later on the run. So I'm just gonna run around here.
Opened pretty early, didn't it?
That is early. So the average, like I said, was 4 to 8, and 4 is like really like super lucky, and we got lucky there. Now I used a Polemander's Sight, and the Polemander's Sight does open the floor, and you actually see some traps. You'll see some red symbols on the ground. Those are traps, and certain traps do certain things depending on what you step on. Also, we have here a Fortune, which I did use, and a Fortune, which is the one right over here, Polemander Fortune, increases the chance of chest drop when you kill an enemy. I just popped it there because I was kind of just talking, but that's kind of the Polemanders there. And again, we'll talk about the Polemanders as we use them going along. And this is the exit. We want to hang here for a little bit, and it actually, that pulse is interesting because if something aggroes on your way to the exit, you will get kicked out of the exit, and you can't proceed to the next floor. Alright, here we go. Ooh, lovely. So, as you go past the first floor, the game will randomly give you what they call enchantments, but kind of the community goes buffs and debuffs, because they'll be both beneficial and negative. In this case, we got a buff that gives us more HP, but we got a debuff that restricts us from using items. And we were just talking about the sustaining potions and the max potions that are items that we can use, and those are now disabled. So it does hinder a lot of the healing that we can use on this specific floor, and it does make a problem for certain jobs because you don't have very much defense to keep yourself alive, and you have to kind of play a little bit more carefully, which kind of lends into me now kind of describing about why are we on this job and why is this job being used on this run. So this Bandersnatch right here is a tough enemy. He doesn't do telegraphs like you've been seeing. The previous enemy had a Glower move, which was like a line AoE that we had to dodge. This one just does attacks. So one of the big benefits of this specific job is that you can keep your damage going on the run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open with a sprint here, and then I'm going to pull this thing. With sprints, we have faster movement, so we're kind of at the pace, speed of this enemy right now. So he'll have a tougher time to catch up to me. Sprint is a 20-second buff if you use it out of combat, 10-second if you use it in combat, so that's why I had to pop it before we start the fight. And right now this is like basically damage mitigation. And then Machinist also has an ability to crowd control called Leg Raise, which puts a weight on the enemy, so now he's moving a lot slower. And kind of in combination with those things, that's how we're able to survive this fight. And you can see my HP is getting pretty low, and I don't have any way to heal myself if I just take consistent damage. So that's where those strats will come into play for this job in particular. Also, I have to... You might be noticing that I'm hugging walls a lot, and I'm going along the sides, and that's because a lot of traps are not along the walls. And not every trap. There's a couple of traps that can be in. There's a couple that the community have located to nail down for runs and such, but you'll just see me kind of hugging the walls a lot as we go along to avoid these traps. Now, one thing I'd like to talk about is why this content? Why am I doing this content? This is kind of rare content, I think, in a lot of MMOs. I mean, unless the MMO has kind of focused in on soloing. I played a lot of FF11 before, FF14, and that's actually one reason why you see the keyboard in front of you. Why I'm playing on a full keyboard is because of my experience in FF11. But the solo aspect is like, MMOs I feel like don't touch upon the solo challenges that much. Like, you'll have a couple, I imagine, here and there, but it is about a social game. And Final Fantasy XIV provided this content that it's really meant for 4 people. But you can go in by yourself and just do it by yourself, and they have a title associated with. I have it on my character, the Necromancer. You go 1 to 200 without dying, like I said, no dying and getting all the way up to 200, you get the special title. And that's a title that not a lot of people have. Less than 1% of the entire subscription base has the title. And that's one reason why it drew me into doing this content. But also on top of that, it has a leaderboard on the official page of the Final Fantasy XIV website, which is called Lodestone. That you can go in there, you can see your rank, you get a score every time you clear, and you can see where you stack amongst people. And in the early days, that was something that really got me so interested in this content, that I can actually compete in a PvE kind of content. And ever since, I mean, this content's been around for like 6 years. This Deep Dungeon #1 Palace of Dead has been around for 6 years, and I'm still doing it after 6 years because it just provides such a good challenge for me and for a lot of people to try to tackle. And I went into other jobs and trying to do other job clears, and you get like just this whole different perspective into how other jobs function and trying to make the most out of the job. So you're probably thinking as we do Machinist that, oh, this kind of looks kind of easy, you know, I don't really take that much damage or just running away from enemies. Well, when you try it on a healer, which has bad damage, you try it on a tank, which is not going to die but also has not as good damage as a DPS, you try it on melee where you can't really kite, the challenge changes and it adjusts, and you have to figure out a way to clear. And what's so cool about this content is that every job is cleared. Of course, some jobs are going to be way harder than others, but at least every job has a clear in the books, one way or another.
How long did it take for the very first person to clear this solo?
So this was like a weird content. It got released in 2016, but a lot of us would say and argue that I'm gonna kind of wait for this thing to move so I can get around, otherwise I'll pull the aggro. I could actually fight it. It got a release in July 2016, but it kind of wasn't soloable at the very beginning. The items we talked about, which is called Sustaining Potion, which is like one of the big heals, that wasn't released on the content. They did not have that item when it got released. They put it in later because I think they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, soloing is pretty hard. So okay, we'll put in that item. And one of the popular jobs that had cleared first, which was Red Mage in the beginning, and kind of the one that a lot of people believed was the only job to clear for a long time, that got released almost about, I think, a year later with Stormblood. So it just took a while. And then, you know, a lot of people were kind of chasing this impossible dream. No one had done it, so it's like, can it actually be done? So it took about, I believe, 2 years for the first clear. So it was 2016 for the release, and 2018 in March, I believe, was the very first clear by a JP gunner. And after that, it started to, you know, people started to get more into it. You started to see more evidence of clears and people using videos and VODs and all that stuff. So it started to collapse, and then eventually all the other jobs did. But yeah, about 2 years for the first Necromancer to clear.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Do you think this would be a good time for donations?
I do think, yeah, we can do some donations here while I get through this floor.
All right, Frosty, I think I got a donation here for you. If you would, let me see. This is from, Zeno Zigves. Zeno Zonosvis. I don't know how to say his name, but he says, man, this is amazing. This is like the hardcore, most craziest thing that I've ever done and seen in my life. So thank you very much, Angelus. Here's $5,000.
Wow, that's a lot. Holy moly.
Wow.
Wow.
Holy crud. 5, yeah, thanks, Zeno.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, Zenopolis, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be it. I guess you want to get one more in?
Yeah, actually we can get a couple while I clean up this floor.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I'll take over here. The next donation is from Dudas Antonio. And he says, longtime fan of Angelus. I think he is actually probably my father. Here's $20 to go towards the charity. Thank you so much for doing what you do for the community. It's grown purely from your participation here.
I can go one more.
All right. This is from Frosty's sister. Hey, when are you gonna come home? Please, here's $100, and this is you've been gone for days. Okay.
Wow, days. Dang, dude.
All right. Sorry.
Oh well. Alright, so we had just used a Pomander called Pomander of Rage, and if you're kind of observing what had happened is that it allowed us to just basically one-shot a lot of enemies. And that's pretty strong, but they are not common. So I used one because we had an extra, which I just picked up there. And it's a very good Pomander to kind of get some time, to go a little bit faster, but as I said, they're rare. And you can't just pop them all, you know, willy-nilly and just like go through the floors, because eventually you run out. And kind of a lot of the strategies involve using them at more opportune times. Like if enemies are a lot harder, if you're running out of time, it's a good time save. But if you get the extra, it's pretty good. Now on this floor in particular, we have another fun thing to showcase, because I saw it really fast as we were getting some donations, and we have what we like to call a treasure room. And the treasure room is just kind of an RNG chance of things where they just shove a whole bunch of enemies in one room. It looks pretty intimidating. It's, if anything, more annoying than intimidating depending on what enemies show up, because they're blocking the exit. And I guess this is also a good time to talk about aggro. In this game, and I imagine a lot of MMOs, maybe, I've only played 2 MMOs, but there are different types of aggros that exist. In this particular set, we have sight and we have proximity. Sight is basically how it sounds. That enemy right there, that Bandersnatch, you see his eyes. If it's sight, it's just you'll aggro if you're in front of him, so you kind of want to get behind him. This Mel over here is a proximity, so even if he's facing that way, if I get close enough, he'll just aggro. Like that, because if I just get close enough, proximity within proximity, they will aggro. And trying to know that and keeping track of every single enemy, of what type of aggro they have, is pretty important to have in this content. Because it would be pretty spooky to walk up to some enemy and you're like, I don't know how that thing aggros, I don't know if I could sneak behind him or something like that. So it's really important to know that knowledge. Now, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to kind of give myself the best chance to get off this floor. So I'm kind of pulling certain enemies that are, in essence, blocking the exit. The patterns that exist with the enemies in the floor, they're kind of predictable. So for instance, you were noticing some enemies that were like Cyclopses. Those are things we call patrols, and they have the ability to just walk along the room, and, you know, it kind of fits the name, patrols. That's kind of how a lot of people in the game call it. But these enemies here, they're not patrols, so they just kind of hang here and just kind of go... Oh, that's nothing. They kind of just move around the room, but they're not gonna, like, travel from room to room. They're just gonna walk around in a certain vicinity in that room, so there's some type of predictability with their movement. And so that treasure room in particular, in terms of strategy, is I want to clear the things that are close to the exit, but not the things that are away from the exit. Otherwise, it's just kind of a waste of the kill. And we are chasing the clock here. Aside from the fact that this is a 1 hour estimate, but this time is ticking down. Right now we have 44 minutes on the clock on the right side of the screen, so we have to beat this in that time. Otherwise, it's a duty fail. So we are threatened by some of that time.
And I mean, this usually takes a... What would you say your fastest run of this is on this set of floors?
On this set of floors, probably... like, if we're playing in a way of that we're aiming for 200, right? That our goal is not necessarily the end of this set, but the end of 200, I probably would finish here in about 40 minutes by the fastest, maybe a little bit faster than that. A lot of other jobs will take almost the full 60 minutes because you need every single minute to get through. But yeah, like right now we're kind of planning to get to the boss with about 20 minutes remaining. It's a little bit of a safety strat on my end because the boss is the hardest part of this run, and if I botch the boss, then that's kind of it. So I'm gonna give myself two opportunities for that. But that is the plan, and we'll make it happen with the palms that we have. And we had just used 2 palms here. One of them was an affluence, which increases my amount of chests from the next floor. It just kind of gives like a little bit of a multiplier to the amount of chests that can show up. And we also used a polemantic called Flight. Flight will reduce the amount of enemies in the next floor that we have to see, and also that we have to kill. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the run that you needed 4 to 8 kills to get off the floor. Basically, what a Flight will do is that will just cut it in half, and now it's just going to be about 2 to 4, maybe 5 at most if you get really unlucky. And that's a really good palm to kind of just save yourself some time, to go a little bit faster, and that's definitely one that we like to use when we see it.
Yeah, that's what we want to do here, is go fast, right?
Well, and considering we're on a timer, yeah, we want to at least go decently fast. We don't want to, twiddle our thumbs and just let the timer go down.
Yeah. Would you say that we're pretty much on time right now in comparison to where we are and how much time's left?
Yes. There's like what I used to do in my early days of doing Deep Dungeon is I would kind of go like every floor you take like 60 minutes divided by 10 floors, so you kind of get 6 minutes per floor. You give a little extra time on the boss, so probably you're looking at maybe 5 minutes 30 seconds per floor. But then I kind of simplified it, at least on my end, where the time you want to look at is floor 140, the 6th floor, so here it'd be 176. And if we're above 30 minutes, that's great. That means we're kind of good on time. If we're below 30 minutes, that means we have to go a little bit faster because we're really kind of going a little slow. So as of right now, we're definitely on a pretty good, decent pace without using too much extra. And not to mention, we will go faster on the next floor because of that Tormentor flight that we just picked up, and we just got out of here pretty fast, so that does help a lot. Also, one thing I wanted to demonstrate, I kind of forgot. So let me see if we can do this here. Again, I was talking about traps that do exist on the floor, and there are certain ones that we can take advantage of. Now, this job really is kind of unnecessary with doing certain traps and such, but I will demonstrate a nice little trap that we have that exists. And also, here's an example right there of a corner trap, wall trap. As long as just we're hugging walls, it's not something that is a perfect process. There are certain rooms that we know that causes a problem. So here I'm going to use a Pomander called Witching. Witching is going to transform these into little enemies that are a lot weaker than the original form. But right now, I'm taking this so I can handle this little tech that we have much cleaner. Now this trap right here is a landmine, and what happens is that things will explode once I step over it, and it'll hit me, but it'll also hit the enemy. So I'm gonna sprint here to make this a little bit faster. I run over, pop, we hit the landmine. I apparently don't hit all the enemies, so that's fantastic. So we're just gonna kill the ones that I did. Terrible demonstration of that, but it's alright, we'll, I think, survive, maybe.
It's never happened before.
No, never happened. Let me wait here. Oh great, you know what? This works out. I can show you what happens when things get messed up. But you saw one enemy get hit with the landmine. It's a nice little tech that we do for certain jobs. Again, a little unnecessary for a machinist, since we have so much damage. But it's a nice way to kind of get some quick kills on some enemies, to go a little faster. A lot better when you didn't already open the exit, which we did. But at least I was able to kind of demonstrate it there. Oh, that's a side enemy. Tried to see if I could sneak past his side, but he decided to say hello. Now, under normal circumstances, this is pretty bad in terms of just wasting time. Whenever you open the exit, you definitely don't want to kill any more than that, because it's completely unnecessary. Once that key is white and it says the passage is open, how I like to say is that any kill after that is just a pure waste, and you want to try to mitigate that as much as possible. Chests, by the way, we haven't seen them yet, but chests do have mimics, and they can change into mimics, which are enemies that are, again, time wasters. They do have some of the most HP compared to a lot of other things here. And that's one of the risks that you have by checking the chests. I mean, you need the power-ups to keep going, but if they turn into mimics, it's kind of crappy. But off we go to the exit because it's nice and clear.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, why aren't we doing the last set of floors up to 200? Why are we doing this set of floors?
Good question. So, a lot of the community will agree that kind of 191 plus can be a bit of a victory lap, depending on what palms you walk into. If your Pomanders and your power-ups are like super stellar, like you have like 3 of everything, and 3 is the cap, by the way. That's why you only see a lot of 3s in those power-ups. If you have 3 of everything, it kind of becomes just like a very breeze to get through. You don't have a boss on floor 200, so that also reduces kind of the stress that you have to deal with that. But I think the bosses is what makes it more thrilling and more of a challenge. This set in particular has the infamous Behemoth, or also in the game it's called Dendain-san, and it's one that traps a lot of people. A lot of people get to that boss and die to that boss. And especially on this job in particular, it's a big challenge. It takes a lot of people a couple attempts just to get past them. And bear in mind, this is a challenge that you need to start from floor 1 to get the Necromancer title. You have to start at floor 1. You can't start at 51, which you could start at. You can't start at some future floor. And if you die, you have to go back to the beginning. So we've already spent on this file probably about 7 to 10 just to get to this point. And to go up to Behemoth, and you only have 1 or 2 tries in Behemoth, and then to fail Behemoth, it's another 7 to 10 hours that you have to prog all the way up here, and there is nothing in this game that kind of prepares you for that challenge. No boss that's identical, no like striking dummy or training dummy that exists that you can be like, oh yeah, well I'll just practice on this one to prepare for Behemoth. No, you just gotta go in and just do it. And I think that's why this set is the one that's the most exciting and the most challenging. So yeah, that I think is mostly the reason. That's one reason I didn't submit a 191 to 200 because of that. But that's probably why this run in particular got picked because of Behemoth in general.
So, how many of these do you have up to this level again, just in case?
Oh, my backup files?
Yeah.
6. Well, I have 5
so
now, but
6
I
times
6.
10, that's 60 hours spent.
Yeah.
Prepping?
Yes. It's a lot of time, yeah. A lot of time in this content on one job.
Oh man. And is it, are you, I assume at this point that you get to this effortlessly, you usually never fail getting up to this floor, right?
It's consistent. I think what's interesting about this content is, although there's a lot of RNG, the commanders that you get is RNG, the enemies that show up, although to some extent, I mean, you can kind of know what enemies are going to show up, it's just you don't know how many there are, and what will come in front of you. Like the treasure room we had before, you don't know if that's going to show up. But there are ways to manage this that you can create consistency. That no matter what RNG the game gives you, no matter what the game provides with commanders, so on so forth, you can figure out a way to victory. And a lot of it does have to do with kind of your ability to play the job. When you play the job really well, you maximize its performance, and you get some results out of it.
Okay. Yeah, I still haven't done this, by the way. I've never.
So wanting you to do this, man.
Yeah, it's tough. That's a time investment.
It is a huge time investment. But at least it's only you get to only do it by yourself. You know, you don't have to worry about people coming into schedules, and pretty much everyone agrees that this is a challenge that is a tough one. Like, I don't think there's anyone that really looks at this, at least who plays the game, and they're like, oh yeah, you know what, that's easy. Like, I'm not doing it because it's too easy. Like, everyone is like, oh yeah, that challenge. If you know what the challenge is, they're like, yeah, this is a good one. And I know a lot of people, when they see the titles, they're like, oh, you got the title? Like you're a badass gamer. And it's pretty nice to hear that from other people, not just on my end, but like other people who like, you know, rock the title.
Yeah, I think the Necromancer is one of the most legitimate, like, badass titles that is in Final Fantasy XIV.
I agree. I think so too.
I mean, you're a little biased, but
I am a little biased. I think we could squeeze in a couple donations, though.
All right. This donation is from Somersault615. They're donating $50, and they say, wow, this is the first time I've ever seen this. I didn't know that this could be in MMOs. This looks like solo content in a massively multiplayer game, but it's a lot of fun. Thanks for showing it, and I am happy to donate towards a good cause.
Nice donation. Oh, nice. There's a mimic in the chest.
Oh, do we want to explain that real quick before we go to the next donation?
Oh, the fun mimic. So the mimics are terrible. They do an ability called Infatuation, which you'll see. I'm gonna let this go by on purpose. It gives me an Accursed Pox debuff, and what that is, it's a 10-minute debuff, and it lowers my damage. It gets rid of my auto healing. It gives me also a damage over time, and it's just a terrible buff. And we have a power-up, a Pomander called a Pomander of Purity, specifically to remove that. But one of the benefits of this specific job is that we have a ability that can actually stop, which I'll use it right here, that's called Head Graze, and it interrupts the pox from coming out. A huge benefit, because not all the jobs have that ability to stop the pox and basically nullify it for the rest of the run. And as I mentioned, like, these chests that give me the power-ups, they also can be mimics, and that could be really bad. Like, it becomes a little bit of a balancing act. You know, you look at a chest, you're like, do I really want to open that thing? But the power-ups, in my opinion, are way more important than having to deal with a mimic. And the mimics are tough because they do hit you very hard. They're very intimidating, but sometimes you do want to fight those mimics versus trying to fight some of these other things. Okay, donations can continue.
Alright, this donation is from the Necromancer. The first Necromancer is the name.
Wow.
Donating $200. $200 for 200 floors. Absolutely amazing to see this content finally making its way to GDQ. Even though we might not see all 200, this is definitely going to be a behemoth run.
That'd be kind of cool if we get to see all 200 at one point. Just to see it. finish out. But that's a long run. It's gonna be like another 2 hours after this.
GDQ would be able to save a lot of programming things they'd have to do.
Yeah, rip, 50 other games. We'll just do Deep Dungeon.
One more donation?
Sure.
All right, this is from Jack the Rabbit. This is really cold looking, and it looks like cool, I guess. Cool for a commentator. I don't know what to say. I don't do donations. But hey, thanks for doing this, and here is my $75 for you guys.
75, let's go. Thank you for that donation. All right.
That's the awkward one.
Yeah.
No,
well.
It's great. No, thank you. Thank you for the donation.
We have yet another Mimic, and I was talking about how it's kind of annoying to deal with Mimics when the exit opens. But it is what it is, so I want those power-ups. Now we have, there's a couple enemies I do want to fight on intentionally so I can showcase to you how freaking annoying they are. And one of them is this Anzu, assuming this Mimic doesn't blow me up. Okay, so we have what we call an Anzu. These are the most annoying birds ever. They do not have any chill. I'm going to pull one here to demonstrate how bad they are. I have also a lot of my cooldowns ready the way this is going to work. So I'm going to pop a potion here, I'm going to open with Sprint, and I'm going to open with some of my biggest bursts on this job. And you're going to see the problem with this bird, one of the big advantages we have with this job is that we get to run away from things. And he doesn't care, dude. He just gap closes and just like, yo, what's up? And he gives me a bone down, he increases the damage that he does on me, it's just really bad. Now I'm going to try to mitigate a little bit here, because he's going to do it at least one more time. And this is, yeah, we're kind of fighting this without kind of like a steal, which increases our defense, but that's one of the pulls that, yeah, I can fight it, but you kind of just don't want to fight it, because it's just such a nasty fight, and that's only if I had full cooldowns to take that on.
Is that your most hated mob in the entire set of floors?
In this set of floors, absolutely. I try to avoid them like the plague, literally. It's a good thing that they are site aggro, so we were able to kind of sneak behind them, which is great. But yeah, a lot of times you just look at them and it's just very intimidating. But thankfully we did have a strength on, which did help my damage, and we were able to kind of down it before he decided to just blow me up. And pretty much what is interesting about that specific enemy is that everything else is kind of cruise control with a lot of these pulls. Like, we're just relaxing outside of the Mimic that we fought. But that one, like I said, does not have any chill. Now, we used Pomander Alteration on the previous floor, and we're going to showcase that in a bit. What that alteration does is just a pure gamble power-up. So on the next floor, so let's say I use it here, on the very next floor, it will change one of these runes into the Mandragora or Mimics. And as we talked, Mimics are really bad, but the Mandragora are fantastic, because they are just non-aggressive enemies, and you just shoot them once and they are killed. And they do contribute to the kill count. So if you see them, fantastic, big time save, and here we got a little lucky because we did get two of them to show up. Alright, so now here we have one of the bad enemies, which is an ape, a Sasquatch. Now I'm gonna kind of just pull this straight up, just gonna run away from them casually. You're gonna see he has like big tank busters, he hits really hard. Pop me. So one little hit like that is doing already half my HP. So just imagine just standing there and just taking damage. So again, this is where Machinist really comes into play, because we have crowd control, we have movement speed, we have uptime damage. So I'm going to use a leg raise there to reduce his movement speed, so he's going to have a hard time catching up to me, and I can mitigate some damage that way before he kind of decides to blow me up, which he almost did right there. But it's okay. We have a good rapport with each other. He's not going to kill me. He'll almost kill me, but he's not going to kill me. Today.
That's fair. Today,
yeah.
This would be a time for him to do it if he's going to do it, though.
Exactly. Run. Oh, yeah, perfect, yeah. It's a good thing I have raising on. I will head on out. So right now, time-wise, we're pretty good, but I do want to get to the boss with 20 minutes. So we have about 7 minutes to get through the next two. I might try to speed up a little bit, but we shall see on this floor what the game decides to give me. So we have another Anzu there, a lot of Anzu, which is great. And this is looking good. I will pull from here. One of the things that does benefit you on this job is, or really actually any job, and how you have success in this game mode, is that you kind of want to keep the debating and the thinking of what to do to minimal. Like, if I'm looking at this room, like, oh man, this is terrible, oh look at this room, oh my god, look at that. Like, if I'm just doing that and just standing here, that's a lot of wasted time. You're on the clock, you gotta move. So I usually try to pull and attack things as fast as possible. That's how we keep our time in order. And I think a lot of people will look at that room in front of me right now and be like, okay, well, we're just gonna use a Rage Pomander like we just did earlier to just clear it out. But again, your resources are limited, so you don't want to just be blowing all of your power-ups just because something looks dangerous. The exit I already know is over there, that's in front of me over that way. Now this cat, this curl over here, it gave me a Paralyze, which is a pretty nasty Paralyze. Not really the greatest thing to fight, but it is a little bit more tame than other things on this board, like the Ant that we fought, like the Ape that we fought. But I'm gonna have to pull an Ape. The Ape is proximity, and that's a bit of a problem, as we talked about before, that if you just get near them, they will aggro. And because he's a little bit close to that exit, his kind of distance for me to get out is not that great. So we're just gonna go and clear up this as we go along here.
Now, a lot of people might be watching this and they're like, oh man, I'd love to do this content, but I don't know about getting a subscription, getting the whole video game, doing all this stuff. But you guys can play this for free. This is free content.
This is free content. The good old critically acclaimed Final Fantasy XIV, free up to level 60 Heavensward. This is Heavensward content, but you can do it a lot earlier. Now, if you wanted to play this job in particular, you do actually have to get to Heavensward, because this job unlocks in Heavensward. It's a bit of a story to go through, which is a very good story, by the way. But this job in particular, that's where you get that unlock, and it is all free. And actually, I did make the conscious effort on this run to kind of play this like I'm on a free trial. So there's a couple items that do exist with a full subscription that gives us a little bit of an advantage. I can use food, which does help your stats just a little bit. Like, it's not a game changer, but you can use food to kind of increase a little bit of your power in here. And we do have actually potions of a higher tier that can drop from another place. But I've replaced them with the potions that drop in here, which is just a little bit weaker. It's not that big of a deal. You're talking like a difference of like 200 HP, so it's not going to be, again, a game-changing thing. But if you're on a free trial, you can't go to the market board, you can't buy anything. And again, you're kind of restricted to certain jobs, the Heavensward jobs. So how we're playing it now, this is exactly how you can play it completely free. No extra, no subscription or anything. And look, I mean, one single run of this is gonna take you close to 15 hours, and more than likely, I mean, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of awesome gamers out there. Maybe a lot of guys will get pretty far, but I like to think it might take a little bit of time to progress this. You're probably talking like a couple dozen, 100 hours on this specific content without even having to spend a dime in the game. It's very, it's something that could be interesting to people who like roguelikes and randomized kind of things, and solo content in general. Like,
you could play Final Fantasy XIV by yourself, even though it's like an MMO. You could go through most of the game by yourself. Actually, it's just a RPG that will let you play with other people as well.
And they've done a better job with that, because I think a lot of the older dungeons and stuff have what they call the trust system, and that you can play with NPCs to get through the dungeon. So if you kind of just don't want to queue up and play with other people, you can just go in with these NPCs that'll help you out. I kind of help you with mechanics, but at least you can get through the content in that way. This one over here. Alright.
You know,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the movement is a little bit weird. I'm not used to how it's moving. This is the controls are set a specific way to allow you to kind of move and play with a keyboard, right?
And kind of, it's actually interesting. So as you can see, we have the keyboard display here. A lot of common people, I'm sure, will probably play this game probably on a controller or a keyboard mouse, and I kind of have preferred the keyboard only. And this was, again, I was mentioning this a little bit earlier, this is kind of my history of Final Fantasy XI as to why I'm doing it like this. But generally, we are playing on a setting called, where is it? No, it's not here. I gotta wait a little bit anyway for these guys to move. We're playing in a setting called Legacy. So if you play Standard, it kind of goes with the control. So like if I back up, this is probably common that you see with Standard, so it works with the mouse. But with Legacy, it allows me to move kind of more freer. So if I go backwards, I go backwards. If I go forwards, I go forwards, that kind of thing. And that's one thing that definitely helps me in a keyboard-only format, that I'm able to make those type of movements. And also, one of the things I think that some people ask me a lot is like, well, how, you know, when you do a GCD, how come your character doesn't whip back when you hit a button? And that's what happens with standard, is that like you do a GCD and then your character like looks back at the target because it's on standard. And not to say that you have to go legacy to make it happen. To avoid that, you can find ways to make it through on standard, but it does kind of help a little bit. Now we are at 21 minutes. And I said I wanted to get to the boss with about 20 minutes, so we're going to be speeding this up by using a Commander Rage again to kind of clear up the floor. I'm going to be checking some chests just in case. Oh, that's great. Okay, I'm going to have to kill that. Pop a healing here, go use a Rage as we go along, and clear up the floor and get ready for the big boy, the boss.
This is pretty, this is pretty exciting. We're getting a little close to it here. Would you say that using the Rage just makes you invincible and you have nothing you have to worry about at all?
No. These apes right now, they're pumping their chests. They just gave themselves a buff, an attack buff. And it gives them a physical. You can see the buff right there. If that thing hits me, I can just get one shot, and I have to be very careful. So yeah, you're definitely not invulnerable in a Rage. And not to mention your attack has a little bit of a cooldown, so if like you just engage multiple enemies all at once, you probably don't kill them in time before they kill you. But there is some strategy involved with trying to... I'm gonna actually step on this luring trap. You can see this luring trap will spawn 3 enemies at once, but it's beneficial because I don't have to kind of walk back. But yeah, you're not invulnerable. I still take damage and rage. It's kind of one of the things that you have to manage as you use them. You don't want to get reckless with it. And there's also a debuff. We didn't run into this debuff, I think, but there is a debuff called No Knockback. And the rage benefits off of like smashing an enemy and then pushing them back. So with the rage, if there's no knockback, you don't push the enemy back, and then that's it. Like, they just don't die. So it's something that you have to kind of watch out for. But generally speaking, everything was pretty good there, and we got off that floor with an ample amount of time. Alright, yeah. It's time for Behemoth, and I'll go through some explanation here as we go along, and then we can get some donations as we do it in between before I get to a certain point, and I'll take over from here. But this boss, a lot of people, when they look at this boss, I know I've got some questions like, oh, like, you know, how do you know where the boss moves? How do you know its rotation? Well, this is kind of common to fights in Final Fantasy XIV when you do raids and savages and whatnot, is that you have scripted fights, and this fight is scripted. There's no real surprises here. You just have to kind of know the rotation. So we're playing this right now in a certain way that does benefit me and makes it a little less chaotic. So right here, he's going to do his rotation, he's going to kind of run to the south side and do a move called Trounce, and I'm already parking myself in a position that can avoid this really fast, because that's going to hurt a lot if I'm standing at that. He's dropping 2 AoEs here, which I'd like to kind of park in a certain way that makes it a little less problematic in the arena, and watch those AoEs, they will expand after a certain time, and if I get hit with that, I'm getting pulled into the center. It also gives me a DOT, really bad AoE to take into play. He then uses this tonal, which is kind of big damage, and this is kind of the full rotation. He'll do another one of those circle AoEs. I'm kind of positioning it over here, and then he's going to go to the gate, the purple gate that's over there, to kind of park himself, and then repeat the rotation. So this whole thing, that's the fight. This is the fight, except towards the end, which is where it gets really spicy and very, very tricky. And actually, we'll be kind of utilizing a little bit of an updated strat as of the most recent patch, which makes this even more spicier. But that's why I'm going to give it 2 attempts, just in case we kind of botch the first one. But that's kind of the gist on Behemoth. Now, we can do with donations until around, let's say, about 30%, and then I'll take over to explain how we're going to kill this boss.
Okay, well, we got a donation here from Tori Talks.
Tori Talks.
Tori Talks, $58.72. Tori says, hey, awesome to see Angelus here at GDQ. My favorite person in the world. Literally my favorite person. There's no one else. I could talk about him all day.
Damn. Well, I could talk about her all day too, man. She's awesome.
Yeah. Tori's great. All right, you want to do another one?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. We have a donation here from Den Dane Sony.
Uh-oh.
Hey, buddy, when you coming over? You know, I'm ready for you. I've been waiting here for about 40 minutes or so. I thought you were going to be here a little bit earlier. Oh, wait, someone's at the door.
Oh. Uh-oh. Oh.
Oh.
Well.
All right, we got another donation here from YP Black Mage. YP Black Mage here says, hey, this is awesome. You know, I feel like I need to make a game dedicated to this type of content. Maybe we could think about that in another one, maybe a 17th version.
Oh, wow, 17, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Glad he had time to toss out that donation. Pretty busy man.
Yeah, I think he might have been at an event or something.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got one more. Oh, we actually got a whole bunch of donations. I'll just keep going. This is from Mimic. Haha, you thought you were going to get a chest. Guess what you got? Pox. All right. Next donation here is from, Inzu. Hey, get out of here. I'm going to bash you. This is $50 just to let you know this is my turf. One day you're going to regret and have to use one of your raisings.
Damn. All right, we can do one more.
All right, one more donation. Last minute donation from Frosty. Hey, Jealous, thanks for letting me be on the stream with you and be part of your couch. This has been amazing experience here. This is $1 billion.
Wow, $1 billion? Damn.
Wow. Dude. Wow, sorry. I didn't expect it to go through so soon.
Wow. Oh, man. Damn, $1 billion. That's a lot, dude. Thanks for donating.
Yeah, man. I could have lived my life wonderfully and comfortably, but I decided to give a donation.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're helping cure cancer, so...
Yeah.
Alright, so we got him down to 30. So what we want to do here is I want to start holding on to a lot of my big damage cooldowns. So you'll see some gauges in the bottom right. Those are at 100, that's capped, so I want to sit on that. I don't want to use those because those take a little bit of time to kind of build up. We're also going to be pushing this boss to a specific percentage. Now, this setup is pretty tricky, and there's a lot that can go on and a lot that can go wrong. So we're going to reduce his HP kind of close to about 22-21%. So I'm going to start reducing my damage here just a minute, just to do this a little bit properly. I also want him in a pretty specific part because I like to do my burst in a certain timing that it gives me the biggest advantage to clear this. So we're going to kind of let this go here. Actually, timing's pretty good here. So I'm going to wait for an AoE to come out. I'm going to get hit here, which is... Actually, I'm not going to get hit, which is good. So I'm going to hold my damage. I'm going to get hit here once or twice. And then I'm going to set up my potion and a buff that gives me a little bit more defense. I'm going to use a Pomander Blast, which you haven't seen me use up until now. This will do a vulnerability on the boss. So you'll see 1, you'll see 2. It's about 10% per vuln, and this is what's going to help me kill this boss later on. Now, this boss will have basically an enrage at 15%, and he's just going to be casting meteors that do 80% of my HP until either I die or it dies. And that's where this fight gets hard. So we have to stack my damage in a way that I can get the most out and we can kill this boss before it kills me. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a trickier strat here that will be riskier, but it'll be fun. And we call it the itemless strategy because usually we use certain items to get through this, whether it's healing or some damage boost item. But since we're also accommodating for this to be like on a free trial, we are doing it this way. I'm also checking some HP here. I have a macro that allows me to see what this HP is at. The closer he is to about 15, that's when he does the invade. I'm trying to control that. Alright, here we go. So he's going to do 1 AoE here. I'm going to set up my burst here as he looks up, and we go in. So here we go. I'm going to do some damage. He's busy casting something else, and that's good because it buys me a little bit of time to get my thing off here. I'm going to try to drop all my damage as I can. I'm going to try to kill this before the second meteor hits me. Otherwise, we are dead. We go here. I got a drill coming in. Drill. I might miss this. Uh-oh. Oh, nice. We get to do it again. Let's go. Behemoth.
Oh boy, that's never happened.
That never happened before. Alright, we do it again. That's why I give myself a little extra time. I think it's, I think I know why I probably missed it. I missed a certain buff out of me. So let me now use another steel and strength here. Alright, so now, since we botched that strategy, we'll do a little bit of a safer strategy. But as you can see, that's where this fight gets really tricky. If you don't kind of line up everything correctly, and you don't do everything the way it needs to, that's what happens. And we were just talking about it early in the run. that it is almost about 12 to 15 hours, depending on how fast you've gone, to get up to this point. So if you die right there and your raising is gone and you get a duty fail, you gotta spend another 12 hours to get back up. So we'll do a little bit of a backup chat. It's a strategy I like to call the healing strategy, because it allows you to kind of manage your HP that you can survive one more meteor. So on that specific attempt, we only were kind of designed to live through 2 meteors, rather to get up to 2 meteors. So we survived the first one, and we died on the second one. So in this coming one, we'll be able to buy myself 1 more meteor to allow myself more health. Now, I do think I need to kind of, later on, this is kind of a side note, I think I need to practice this a little more because I did this without food, but anyway, that's probably the reason. But it happens, and it's fine. That is why we're doing a safety route here. But I guess if you got more donations, we can do a little bit more until about maybe 40%. I'll let you know when that comes in.
Yeah, sure. So we have a donation here from the color blue.
Wow.
Donating $69 here and $69.69.
Okay,
saying, thanks for your support. Always appreciate it when you're on stream and reminding me that I exist.
Good. I'm glad.
All right. We have another donation here. This is from, I don't think we're sponsored by them, but it's just a known company here for peripherals. Hey man, I really don't like the fact that you are eliminating part of our sales by telling people not to use mice.
Dang.
$1.
Yeah, I don't even have it on the screen, you know?
Off the screen.
Yeah, off the
if
screen.
You ever got a mouse sponsor, you'd have to put it right in the middle there, right?
I do. Actually, I did, so I guess I'll just put it right there. There you go. Even better. You'll see me not even look at it, yeah.
Nice. Do you use that mouse for literally anything at all?
I mean, when I don't play this game, yeah. I mean, I play other games, and you know, I have to click things on the screen when I navigate through the windows. But playing this game, pretty much that mouse is pretty neglected.
You could do Windows without a mouse too. You just have to be really good with shortcut keys and stuff.
Yes, but I didn't. See, it's interesting because I didn't learn how to do Windows without a mouse. I learned how to MMO without a mouse. I guess that's a little different.
Well, gamer life, you know.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Got a donation here. This is from the little piggy bank from Frosty's little brother. Hey, Jealous, you inspire me, and I look up to you more than anyone, especially my brother. Here's my piggy bank of donations.
Nice.
$6.32.
Wow. Man, your family's kind of brutal, dude.
They're really pretty mean. At least I guess they kind of supported me street by coming here in some weird fashion. I guess we got time for 1 or 2 more donations.
I would say 2 more we're good for, yeah.
2 more donations. All right. This donation here is from the Automation Queen, donating $1,337. Hey, when are you gonna start using me again?
I can't. 60 is level 60 content. You don't exist here. Rip.
Poor Automation Queen.
No.
All right, and then we have one more donation here, and this is from Mr. Happy 1227.
Hey.
Hey, Happy's awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. What has he got? Well, he's donating $1,227, and he has to say, "I'm sad." All right.
Well, that's it.
That's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. Are we good on donations?
Yeah, oh yeah, we're good. We're good. All right. Cool. So, we're just whittling back that boss down. I think I know what happened on the previous attempt. I think I didn't use a second heat blast. I think I was just like, oh yeah, we'll be fine with the second heat blast, which is one of my bigger damage cooldowns, and that's kind of what happened. So it's okay. We'll remedy the situation on this attempt as I mess up my positions here. But we will have a much safer shot to go with as I get him down a little bit lower. I kind of made a little bit of a mess with this, but I will position myself here. And GG, let's go. I guess we have to kind of make it interesting for the for this show, you know?
I mean, this looks intense, man. I know it's like clockwork for you, and like takes little effort, but it looks intense if all those tornadoes are out.
Yep. Well, I kind of positioned them really bad, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. I mean, I know where they're going to position. I know what this boss is going to do, so nothing is really going to be surprising, which is, you know, kind of one of the big benefits of this content is when you don't get surprised, you're in good shape. But if something happens and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen, that's when things go bad, because you start panicking, you start using things you don't want to use, and that's where it gets bad. But I guess what I can talk about now is a couple of things that I used in the previous attempt that will come into play. I have on my middle hotbar, you'll see a giant X and then a giant sword. The X is a button, a macro button that we can use, like a little bit of a shortcut that can kick me out of my transformation. Otherwise, I'd actually have to use a mouse to actually click off the transformation. So it's a really big benefit for someone that doesn't have a, that isn't using a mouse. Pop this over here, good. And then we're also using another macro below that, the sword macro, which is just an icon, but it allows me to monitor the HP value of this boss. And now, as I was saying, once we get it close to like 15, that's when it's going to use its meteor phase, but more specifically, it's at 14.9% that we're looking for. Once you dip it to 14.9, that is when he'll start using his, that's when he'll start using the meteor enrage that you just saw that we died to. But the closer and closer I get to that, it kind of gives me a good chance to do enough damage when I start up my burst. I'm going to hold damage here. He is currently at 15.7. I'm going to do one hit here. He is now at 15.5. He is now at 15.4. 15.2. I'm going to hold damage here. So I'm not going to do damage. My gun's still out, but I'm not doing damage. So let's prep for Behemoth right now. Going to get him to a nice spot. We're going to do the same thing like I did earlier, where once he kind of kicks his neck up, that's when I want to start the burst. I'm gonna hold here. Hold. Alright. Gonna start up my thing here. Drop, and start. Okay, good. Now here I'm gonna use my items in a specific way. Good here. Now we're gonna heal up for this meteor coming up. One heal here. 2 heal here. So now we have enough HP to live through the second meteor, and now this is a lot better in terms of damage. We should definitely kill this here, no problem. Drill. There we go. Safety shot. At least we got him on the second go.
That's time.
There you go. That's time. Awesome. So we did it, even with one kill, one death rather. But that's where the re-raise came into play, that we were able to get back up and redo that boss again.
Yeah, that's really good run, man. That's pretty clean. I mean, we had the one death, but it's okay.
Wow, look at all these people out here. Holy moly, the community showed up.
Wow.
Like,
you'll notice,
believe
like, you can only load in so many characters, and so if you walk around, you'll see characters kind of disappear.
Wow, look at that. Holy moly.
If anyone wanted to get into this, how would they get into doing this?
Well, I mean, if you haven't even played 14, just download the free trial that exists and just start playing. You will get into the quest eventually. It's like level 16 that the quest exists. It is a side quest, like a little blue icon that you can do, and that's it. And if you want to do this job in particular, you have to get up to the Heavensward storyline, so you gotta get through the A Realm Reborn, but basically just go through the story, get to the job, and that's how you can go into it. And we are here at Quarry Mill, where all these lovely people are, so many of them I can't even keep count, and this is where the NPC is, and this is how you interact, and boom, you can start up your deep dungeon file. So
nice. Is there a community someone could join if they wanted to
absolutely
learn more?
So if you want to look out to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AngelZeman, in my About Us, we have a lot of the links there, my link to Discord community, Twitter, and all that stuff, so you want to stay connected with us. And if you want to try the content out for yourself, that is a fantastic place. We have lots of people who are just starting, lots of people who are just veterans of the content, you know, a lot of people who do it better than me and who certainly can help you out. And that's a good place to start, because we'll definitely help you out. And you know, go there if you ever want to try it out. So thank you for this run. Frosty, you have any last words to say before we sign off?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Angelus, for letting me kind of be here and hang with you, be a part of this. Awesome. It's so great to see Final Fantasy 14 and GDQ. They've been sponsoring of it for like forever. So it's awesome to see them actually on the main stage here on like such a great time slot as well. This is like amazing. I feel like a little nervous, like front and center in front of so many people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Yeah,
check
it's
the
awesome for you to let me come on here. And also a quick, if anyone's curious about more charity events, we do have the Final Fantasy XIV World Race that will be happening just next week,
yeah, yes.
which I believe starts on Tuesday or it's Tuesday after. I'll have to make sure I got the times right there. At midnight, we'll start up a stream and start event to help some more people out. It's a pretty awesome event. Probably going to be the hardest fight of next year.
Yeah, the Ultimate Maze is a huge show. A lot of awesome gamers are going to be there, and you do a fantastic job leading that event. So really excited about that. But yeah, thank you for being here, Frosty. Thank you for having us, and have a good marathon.
Bye.
All right.
Okay.
How was that?
Good.
How'd you feel?
Feel pretty good. I mean, a little had to warm up a little bit just because my mind's all over the place today. But
you did. I thought you did fantastic, man.
Oh, thanks.
Actually, I felt like because I actually purposely eliminated talking about a lot of the enemies out, so I kind of felt like I was trying to pull more things that I needed to talk about. So I'll work on that. That's fine.
No, you did great. You did. So the only things that I think we didn't hit. I mean, we hit tons of stuff.
We did.
We hit like so many different things here, and I think we did such a great job with it. We talked about sustain potions. We talked about Palace of the Dead. We talked a decent amount. We explained kind of the content and like roguelite and everything else.
Yeah.
Hugging walls. Why even do it? Aggro explanation. Like, and the list goes on. I think the only things we didn't hit was a full explanation of the MMO, but we kind of talked about it anyways.
Yeah.
Kind of at least briefly, and then the fighting enemy with no steel, no kiting with kiting, or being better than with kiting, I guess.
Yeah.
And then staggering and silver chest explosion demo.
Yeah,
I think those were the only ones.
The staggering I'll try to demonstrate if I get to there. The silver chest is that's just RNG. I can't do much about that. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah. That I'm gonna be honest though, like we're not gonna hit all of them.
Yeah, we're not. No, we're not.
Yeah. But I think the timing of the donations worked out pretty well. And sorry, I literally just made that shit up off the top of my head. I don't know what I...
Wait, there weren't real donations? Oh,
Oh, man, now we're negative.
You did fine, man.
No.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. I was trying fuck it. Let me think of something.
Yeah, it surprised you like more donations because we died in the beginning. You pulled more out of your butt.
Yeah, I was like, oh crap, what do I gotta do? Color blue.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was fun, and I think that was great. And again, I think if this same thing with the last time we did it, if we did it exactly the same, it would have been more than acceptable for a GDQ run.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it felt like it went smoothly. I think the drama also helped. Like there was a little bit of drama, which is good.
You dying?
Yeah. And that was not that definitely was not on purpose. I think I did miss doing something. Like I did not purposely try to die there. I think I just missed doing a cooldown, which is whatever. But that's why we had two attempts. So.
Are you worried about any particular thing happening outside of servers going down, all servers going down, or something like that happening during the event? Like during the run, is there anything like, oh god, I really hope this doesn't happen?
It's only Behemoth. Because like how I look at it is I don't know how I'm gonna feel on that boss because that boss really will take a toll on kind of your nerves and everything. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel on the actual show. But that's literally my only concern because it's interesting with the climb because we have tools to get up there much faster and we're already conditioned to like go 20 more floors after this. So if I really have to go faster, which actually when we did the first run, that was getting a little threatening because we were going like really slow. But generally speaking, like if I need to go faster, I know how to go faster. So I'm not even worried about time. It's really just and yeah, like you said, server issues. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and the raising, pretty much makes it to where we can make 2 to 3 mistakes, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I would be willing to burn everything and that in my power ups just to make the run happen. Like for instance, one thing that is taken into consideration with the backup files is if we disconnect at any point. I would say if we disconnect before 176, I will still have time to get another file back up because we'll just like burn everything. Like everything will just get used and just it turns into a speed run. So there are a lot of kind of avenues and paths to take to make the run successful.
If you burn everything, how fast do you think you can do it?
So it's interesting. There's a JP runner. Actually, a JP runner did not burn everything, but they get extremely fast, and they did it in like 21 minutes, I think,
Jeez.
without burning
So,
other stuff. So it can go.
and we have an
pretty fast.
hour?
Yeah. So, like, if I disconnect on Behemoth, that might be GG. I could probably still push it if like GDQ is okay with giving me extra time, but I can probably get up there with like less than 20 minutes if I just literally burn everything we had.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be good as a backup.
The worst thing is if we had to do that, and then you're like, kind of like, oh fuck, I gotta go fast, and you run into a trap and you die and like make like 3 mistakes. You're like, ugh.
That's okay. I won't run into traps. There's only a couple traps I know that exist, so that meaning like if I don't hug the wall, I'll hit them.
Yeah.
So that's okay. And even then, there's lots of ways to get out of it, but it'll be okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see how you're worried about that. Don't worry, I'm not worried about that.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. Like I'm just here to hang out and have fun, dude. I don't have to actually do anything good or do anything difficult.
Oh man, your voice is the big thing. So much appreciated.
I don't think my voice is that good.
It's great. It's great. Isn't Bryce's voice good, guys? It's good.
That's sweet of you to say. No.
Thank you for again your time on this. Appreciate it. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, dude.
I gonna see. Like, I don't know if you'd be okay with it, how your schedule's gonna look if you've got to start setting for ultimate. But I do want to. I mean, I don't know how you feel if we should do like one more, or if we're like good
Let's
to
do
go.
one more.
Okay, I gotta see my schedule because that's gonna be a little tough on my end. But I will inform you
if you want to do one more. I will do whatever you want. Just to let you know.
I'd like to maybe do one. It's just I have to see how my schedule looks, so it might get a little tight because I gotta set up my own files and so on and so forth. So we'll see, but I'll keep that in mind. If it works out, I'll definitely give you again the week in advance and all that stuff. So
sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm more than up for it. It's just an hour at a time, as long as it's like after, let's see, 10:30 or so. Or no, not 10:30. What's the? I'm trying to translate time. 9:30 Eastern time. As long as after like 9:30 Eastern time. That's after my daughter goes to sleep. I should be okay. And yeah, I'm watching chat. I see you guys.
Radio voice, man. See?
Yeah, I go do radio voice. Yeah. It's probably because I'm a little sick. Maybe that's what the radio voice is. I don't know.
Sick again?
Man, this congestion's never gonna go away. I think it's gonna be with me for the rest of my life now.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I had something that just set in my system for a long time, so probably just
it's not like I'm in pain and aching and horrible. It's just a horrible congestion that just it will take forever to get out of my system. This whatever this crazy thing that's going around is. But all right, man, I'll let you get back to it. I think that, again, this went great. I'm excited for it. I think we're gonna have like an amazing. It's all for that one little hour.
Yeah,
it's gonna go by so fast.
It's 1 hour, man, but I think it'll be really good for lots of reasons. So really looking forward to it.
All right, dude. I'll let you get back to it. Good luck. Are you gonna? I guess you're gonna have to level up another one. Get another 10 hours in.
Actually, I'm just gonna finish this file, get to 200. And easy peasy. No worries.
Yeah. All right, dude. I'll see you later.
Have a good night. Thanks again.
Yeah, you too.
All right.